Whatever town you may be listening in this afternoon, it's Hannah Martin here, and this is Turning Two Tunes, the very best country music and baseball talk show around. Oh man, I am so glad to be back. If you don't know, I had a show last year, and it was so exciting. I loved coming in every Sunday from 12 to 2, getting to play country music, getting to talk a little baseball. Okay, a lot of baseball. And we're kicking off season 3 today, and oh my goodness, y'all, I am just so excited to be back in the studio. This is the first time I get to talk on the radio about baseball since late April, early May. Ooh, and let me tell you, I have got some things to say. You better believe we're talking Red Sox. We're talking Yankees. Of course, we're going to talk about the Mariners. We're going to talk about the swinging A's. We're going to talk all of your favorite topics today regarding baseball. You're going to get to hear my thoughts. We're going to have a very special guest on. Y'all know it's going to be a great show today. I'm so excited. If you want to call in at any point in the show, give me your thoughts on what I'm saying. Agree, disagree, bring up a new topic. I want to hear you. 509-335-2207 is that number. We're going to get you started with some brand new Caroline Cole. Here we go. All right, so we are back in the studio, and we are joined. I told y'all I had a very special guest coming on this program this afternoon, and she has arrived. She just got here about 30 seconds ago, and then we got ready. So everybody, Hannah Utter is in the building.
Hi, everybody. I'm in the building.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
That's great. This is Hannah's first time in the KZUU studio. How do you like it so far?
It's great. I'm really nervous.
It's okay. We're gonna talk. Usually we have, so Hannah, if you don't know, one of my very best friends, she's my roommate, great gal. She loves football. And so we can talk about how the Cougs won yesterday. They played their first game. They were in Wyoming. Can you give us some analysis of the Coug game yesterday? What'd you think?
I think it went pretty well.
Yeah?
Obviously.
They won.
Our new quarterback, I forget his name. It's like Gardner something.
Gardner Minshew II.
Yes. He did a good job.
Yes.
Sort of right in the middle of the game, there was some problems.
Yes.
And we weren't doing very well, but we came back.
Nice.
And won.
Yes.
Wyoming, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, wow. I was sweating for a little while because we were down like 16-13.
Yeah.
But then Mike Leach had a little chat with the boys.
Yes, he did.
And they turned things around and got a big win on the road there. And then this weekend is the first home game for the Cougs, and they're playing San Jose State. And so you're from California.
Yes, I am actually from San Jose. So.
Whoa!
Yes.
Did you ever have any aspirations of ever attending San Jose State?
No, I did not, because it is not a very prestigious university, unlike WSU, which is, of course.
Yes. So how do you think the Cougs are going to do against the Sharks this weekend, this Saturday?
They are probably going to beat them pretty bad, I'm thinking.
Yes, I also think the same thing. What was I going to say? I feel like the Sharks, I had like a great point and then I forgot it because that's how things go.
Their mascot is actually the Spartans.
Is it the Spartans? Okay, let's look this up.
The Sharks are the local hockey team in San Jose.
You're such an idiot.
San Jose Sharks. God. Yeah, they're good. I've never gone to a game before, but,
They are the Spartans. That's totally on me.
Go Spartans.
Wow. Thanks, Hannah.
Of course. Just a little local knowledge there for you.
This is why I have a baseball show and not a football show. But Hannah is also a big fan of the Packers.
Yeah, go Pack, go.
Aaron Rodgers, their quarterback, just signed a big deal. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm very excited to have him be continuing because I was worried that he was going to retire pretty soon. and he just signed, I think, a 4-year extension. So
that's what I read.
At least he'll be around for another 4 years.
Yes, King.
And hopefully it'll be, he'll have some up-and-coming quarterback who he can train, just like what Brett Favre did for him. So that's my
Perhaps Luke Falk?
Perhaps, yes.
We were talking about this yesterday because Hannah loves to talk about how Brett Favre was kind of, an older quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers, he really mentored Aaron Rodgers as he came up. And Hannah would love to see the same thing happen with Aaron Rodgers this time, being the older quarterback, and seeing someone like Luke Falk, not as experienced, come in and have Aaron Rodgers kind of take him under his wing and just build another great Green Bay quarterback.
Yes, that would be amazing.
It sounds so great. Because if you don't know, so he was drafted by the Titans, and then they released him. The news came out yesterday morning. I'm not sure exactly when they released him. But then this morning, the news broke that the Dolphins had picked him up.
Luke Falk, she means, not Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, Luke Falk.
Aaron Rodgers is safe in Green Bay where he belongs.
Yes. How do you think the team is going to do this year? Because they don't have Jordy Nelson anymore.
Yeah, that's something really hard for me to talk about, so thanks for bringing it up, Hannah.
Sorry.
I think the team's going to do well, I hope. We have, despite the departure of Jordy Nelson, we do have a lot of returning members on the offense who I think are going to do a good job, including good old Aaron Rodgers. Last year, the Packers did not do very well because Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone.
Right.
And so as long as he stays healthy, I really think that this could be our year.
Oh, my God.
To go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I know. Dare I say it? Yes, I do.
Because who else is in that division? The Bears suck.
Well, actually, according to our good friend Steven, the Bears have just picked up this really good, I think, linebacker. And the Packers are playing next weekend, the Sunday night game at 5 p.m.
Right.
They are playing the Bears.
Oh, boy.
So, I'm a little nervous that linebacker is going to break Aaron Rodgers' collarbone.
Oh, God.
That doesn't happen.
Pour one out for Aaron Rodgers' collarbone. Rip my man.
He has broken it twice in the last 6 years or something. But anyways, the Bears, unsure how they're going to do, but we do know that they have that good guy on defense. And not to, be rude to the Packers or anything, but they don't have the best O-line. And so I'm nervous about that.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think that we'll do well. The Bears sometimes do well, but I don't know. We'll see.
And then who else? You got the Vikings
and the Lions.
Is there just 4 teams, or is there another team? Okay.
4 teams.
Because there's 5 teams in baseball division, so I just want to
4 in football.
just want to make sure I don't forget anybody. So yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because some of the teams, there are some teams that are pretty consistently good, like for example, the Patriots.
Right.
And there are other teams where some years they're really good and some years they are terrible. And you don't really know until the season starts what it's going to be. And basically every team within our division is like that. So you don't really know how the Vikings, Bears, or Lions are going to do until the season starts because they may be really good one year and really terrible the next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some insight for everybody. I think it is harder to predict because, me and my family, we always pick which games we think who's going to win. And it's always super hard for me as someone who doesn't, I don't know if it's just because I don't watch a lot of football, but I feel super confident in a pick and then the team is bad. So I feel it's harder to pick, to know who's going to be bad and who's going to be good in football than it is, say, in baseball. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because I'm an idiot when it comes to football.
No, I feel the same way. You really have to watch the season pretty closely because the problem is that for many teams, especially younger teams, they have weak leadership. And so there will always be shaking up in the coaching staff and things like that. And so some years, they'll have a bad coaching staff and then they'll just let everybody go, which is not a good idea in my opinion. And then the next year they'll be even worse somehow, or they'll luck out and be really good. And the next year they're bad because they have poor management or something like that.
It really be like that.
And there's so few games in football, so every game matters a lot. So it's
so do the Packers and the Seahawks play each other this year?
I am not sure about that. I would have to take a little look.
Let's take a look here. I have my computer sitting by Packers Seahawks 2018. it looks like they do. They play each other on November 15th, 5 o'clock, also the Sunday night game. They're in Seattle. So,
Oh, boy.
as everyone knows, I'm sure, the not so long but notorious, that's not a word, notorious history of the Packers and the Seahawks. The, what was it?
Fail Mary.
The Fail Mary.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Well, here's what happened with the Fail Mary.
Okay.
And I will talk to this about, basically, anyone who asks me about this, I will talk to them about it for 10 minutes. Regardless, anyone who's a fan of the Seahawks, I will say, hey, here's what happened. So here's what happened.
Spill the tea.
So we're playing this game with the Seahawks, and you may know this or may not know this because I have probably told you before, but all the refs for that game were replacement refs because the actual refs were, I believe they were all in some kind of like training or something. So they were all the real NFL refs were gone during that game. And so all the refs that were there were like refs in training or people who weren't like official referees. They were just like subs basically. And so Aaron Rodgers throws the Hail Mary, now dubbed the Fail Mary. And there's been a lot of dispute between Seahawks fans and Packers fans about what actually happened, but the replacement refs, who don't really know that much, ruled in favor of the Seahawks. And because of that, the Seahawks won the game. So it's a bit of a problem. And even after that game, they changed the rules so you couldn't have a game fully staffed by replacement refs. Like they changed the NFL rules because of that game. And so for us Packers fans, it's pretty hard. And ever since that happened, I've had a bit of a chip on my shoulder when it comes to Seahawks fans. So I really like to see the Packers go out and just beat the Seahawks.
Me too. I'm not a huge fan of Seahawks fans.
Yeah, I think whatever, it's kind of, you know, I'm from the Bay Area. And in the Bay Area, there are two teams. There are the San Francisco 49ers and the Oakland Raiders. And when you live in a place where the fan base, there's a local fan base, those fans become very annoying to you if you're not a part of the fan base, which I have definitely noticed. I think that Niners fans can be extremely irritating, and so I can understand why you don't like the Seahawks because it's just...
We're just dragging everybody on the program today.
Yeah.
It's great. All our listeners are like, hey, that's me, and then they're clicking off.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have a lot of Bay Area listeners, so I think that I'm safe, but it's a little, you know... Seahawks fans might come for us, but
that's okay. So since you're from the Bay Area, my dad, as you know, big Raiders fan.
Go Raiders.
What are your thoughts on the Raiders? How do you think they're going to do this season? They just brought John Gruden back. My dad is overjoyed. There were tears of joy coming from his eyes when he heard that John Gruden was coming back to coach the team. And John Gruden was the coach of the team like in the early 2000s. When the last time the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, I believe John Gruden was the coach of them. And then he went to Monday Night Football and was an analyst, and now he's back. And so all the Raiders fans are like, our time has come. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as you may know, in the past couple years, the Raiders have been doing a little better because before that, especially like when I was in high school and I was living in the Bay Area with a bunch of Niners fans and Raiders fans. The Raiders fans kind of knew their place because they were so terrible. And the annoying thing actually then was the Niners fans because they were like, oh my God, our team is so amazing. And I was like, no, it's not. Just wait and see. And I was right. But the Raiders, I don't know. I think they're going to do pretty well this year. Yeah. I am not... I think they'll make it to the playoffs, but it's unlikely that they'll make it to the Super Bowl. But if they do, I believe that the Packers can beat them.
Yeah?
Yes.
Ooh, a Packers-Raiders showdown. My house would be a mess because my dad, like I said, is a big Raiders fan, and then my brother is a big Packers fan, and he gets very angry when the Packers lose. Like, he'll just, like, storm up to his room and won't come out for dinner or anything, so...
That's like in my family, except everyone does that. So you can imagine, you know, what that's like.
Yeah. But my dad has kind of like gotten used to the Raiders losing. So like when they lose now, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like being a Packers fan, you kind of expect the team to win because they're like so good all the time.
And that's what I'll say, you know, about me predicting, you know, if they go to the Super Bowl together, obviously the Packers will win. It's because the Packers are kind of like a dynasty team, and they have a very strong base, I'll say. Like, they have a good coaching staff, and they have built their team up very well, whereas I think the Raiders, when they're good, they just sort of are getting lucky. Like, they
Yeah.
don't really have strategies that work for them or a bunch of good players. They have, like, a few good players and then kind of,
Well, in baseball, they kind of they talk when you talk about the postseason. There's always like the aspect of postseason experience and having a guy. So like having your ace pitcher be a guy who has had postseason experience and who can stay calm when things get really hectic and crazy. And I think it's kind of like the same thing in football. When you have a quarterback, you want a more experienced quarterback. And the Packers obviously have a more experienced quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, whereas the Raiders have Derek Carr, who I watched in a big game last year, just completely lose his mind and not make any throws. Like they were down by like 7, like with 20 seconds to go, and they were, moving down the field, and then he just kind of like lost it completely. And so I think that's another aspect that should be taken into consideration.
Yes. So if you don't know, the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2011.
Way to go, Kings.
And every year since then, except I believe this past year, the Packers have gone to the playoffs and made it either to the NFC Championship or the game right before it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you can imagine, Aaron Rodgers is out for blood. So
yes.
when he's going to the playoffs every year, he knows what he's doing. He's calm and collected, and these things happen where he goes to the playoffs and he just barely misses it. So I really think that he wants to get another Super Bowl before he retires, because he has the one from 2011, but he wants at least one more.
Yes,
I
King.
think.
Does he still have that ugly beard? And the mustache?
Okay, Aaron Rodgers' beard is not ugly. The mustache is terrible, but he usually only does that for November, because they have the prostate cancer awareness thing where they all don't shave their faces. But he chooses to do a mustache instead of a beard, which I'm like, ew, but he looks good with the beard. I don't know. I think he's like clean shaven right now.
Okay.
It's the summer, it's hot.
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah,
the mustache is never a good look. I'm always like, God.
He really looks bad. He looks like Sebastian Stan in I, Tonya.
Oh, my God. Can we talk about I, Tonya for a hot minute? Because
I, Tonya.
Hannah's got some thoughts on I, Tonya. If you don't know, it's about Tonya Harding. It's a movie that just came out. Oh, it came out last year, but it's the crazy story of her life. And I know like our moms they know the story well, but to us, like, this was the first time that we had actually like heard of this story.
And our moms know the story well because they lived it.
Right.
And so they lived through a lot of the anti-Tonya propaganda that was being showed during that time in the media. She was very demonized by the media. And in my opinion, Tonya Harding is completely innocent. And I believe that, she needs to be compensated for her losses as a person.
I mean, because they didn't let her skate anymore. Like, that was her whole thing. Because she, like, dropped out of school to skate, and they were like, you can't skate anymore.
It's so sad. And the punishment was completely disproportionate because, as you may know, Jeff Gillooly, a.k.a. Sebastian Stan, only got 18 months in prison, of which he served, I believe, 8. And they fined him $100,000, which he never paid. And that was his punishment. And he was actually a part of the plan to take out Nancy Kerrigan. And Tonya Harding, if you watch the movie and you believe what happened in the movie, had no part in this and originally just wanted to sort of skate, and Jeff was like, oh, we should do this, and she was like, fine, whatever, I'm just gonna skate. And because of that, she got banned for life from the American Skating Association. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, but it's messed up.
Spill the tea, Hannah. It's, one of our favorite movies and things to talk about.
Yes, every time I am around a group of people who I haven't been around in a while, i.e. any member of my extended family, I ask them, have you seen I, Tonya yet? And when they say no, I make them watch it. So I've done that about 4 times actually, since the movie came out. And I own it on Amazon. So if you're listening to this and you haven't seen I, Tonya yet and you want to watch it, you just let me know because I can hook you up.
It is a great film. I've seen it either 2 or 3 times. Margot Robbie stars as Tonya Harding. She does a phenomenal job.
Yes.
It's a really great film all the way around, especially if you haven't like heard the story and this is like your first time being introduced to it.
Or if you have heard it and you just want to know Tanya's side of the story.
Yeah. And it's
good for
it's
everyone.
interesting because it like breaks the fourth wall, so the characters like speak directly to the audience at times. which I like.
Yeah, I think because they say like they have parts of the movie that are based on interviews that Jeff Gillooly and Tonya Harding did. So they're both telling their stories basically, and we're seeing the action of the movie is sort of a combination of their stories. So Jeff claims that he was never involved in any of the planning of the attack on Nancy Kerrigan. And then at the end of the movie, Tanya says Jeff basically is a liar, never talk to him because he can make up anything. And so you're kind of like, what's the truth?
Yes.
But you know,
unreliable narrators.
you know that Tanya is innocent. That's the one thing that you know for sure.
Yes. All right, Queen. So we have some rapid fire questions that I came up with. There we go. Got some fun music for this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. All right. What's your favorite baseball team?
The Yankees.
That sucks. Favorite superhero and why?
Captain America, because I love him and he's super good, and also secondary, who's not really a superhero but just really badass, Peggy Carter, because she's my wife.
Yes, I love her. Something that really annoys you?
The sound of people eating.
Rip. Favorite song right now?
Ooh, Drive by the Cars.
Nice. I'll have to listen to that after the show.
It's really good.
Last book you read?
I am currently reading Anna Karenina, but the last book that I finished was Coraline by Neil Gaiman.
How was it?
It was good. It's a children's book, but the movie that it's based on is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I wanted to read it.
Nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
10.
I can agree. Hannah Utter, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. We loved having you, and I hope the Packers do well this season.
Me too.
All right. Once again, Hannah Utter. We're going to jump back into some more music here. Stay with us because we're talking about the Red Sox next, and you don't want to miss it. Here we go. Everybody knows what that sound means. It means we have a caller, and Hannah Utter is also still in the studio with us. She's so kind for sticking around. She wanted to talk about the Yankees, and our caller also wants to talk about the Yankees. Zach, are you there?
Yeah, right here.
Hi, Zach.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Sounds so
That's
enthused.
good.
So Zach is my brother, the big Packers fan that we were talking about earlier, and he's also a big Yankees fan,
Just like me.
as is Hannah. So I thought it'd be a great time to have all three of us on the program and get to talk about the Yankees. So Zach, as I'm sure you know, the Yankees are, is it 8 games out of first place behind the Red Sox in the East?
7.5.
7.5.
Column.
7.
7 in the left column. 6 left against the Red Sox.
So, yes, I keep hearing about this. What happened the last time the Red Sox and the Yankees met up, Zach?
Well, the Yankees didn't have their key players. I mean, not playing with Gary Sanchez or all-star, 2 perennial all-stars for the next 10 years. It's kind of tough when you don't have an offense.
I love these excuses. But in case you don't know...
Let me put this scenario out there for you. So
Okay.
if Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez were injured for a month together, you're saying the Red Sox would still be in first place?
Gary Sanchez is nowhere near as good as either J.D. Martinez or Mookie Betts. And the Red Sox were without Mookie Betts for 3 weeks earlier in the season and didn't go out and get swept.
Simultaneously at the same time.
I just told you Gary Sanchez is not as good as J.D. Martinez or Mookie Betts, so the scenario doesn't make any sense, and it's null.
Well, I'd say that Gary Sanchez is a better all-around player than J.D. Martinez.
Oh, my
because
God.
it's defensive liability.
What tells you that? Gary Sanchez's 200 batting average?
No, because he was injured all of this year.
Right. Okay, we're going to keep this party moving on. So the Yankees at 7.5 back, 7 in the loss column. They have had a problem beating bad teams this year. So, like, the Orioles beat them, the Rays beat them, the Tigers are beating them right now. They're probably going to split the series, barring some huge comeback from the Yankees. They're 86-50, and I wanted to ask you and Hannah your thoughts on the Yankees manager, Aaron Boone. New manager, first-year manager.
Well, he's not managing today, So,
yes, because Hannah, I showed you the video of him when he was making fun of the umpire. He got suspended for that.
Wow.
So he's up in the Yankees booth today, so he's not
no,
managing.
he's in a suite because he can't be in the press box.
Yes, there you go. But a lot of people have the whole reason that they brought in Aaron Boone for the Yankees was because their old manager, Joe Girardi, was too mean to the younger players, and the younger players were getting sad.
Oh.
And so they brought in Aaron Boone to be nicer to the players.
Don't they know there's no crying in baseball?
They brought in Aaron Boone to, be soft with these younger players and be nicer to them. And there have been some controversies of players not hustling, of players kind of, taking their time, getting to the bag or getting down the line sort of thing. And a lot of people have said, this wouldn't have happened on Joe Girardi's team. And so it's kind of like, what is the cost of having Aaron Boone as your manager? Where Aaron Boone before this had never had a managerial job in baseball. This is his first coaching gig. And and I mean, you come in and you take over the Yankees, who are supposed to be the team to beat this year. They have Stanton, Judge, all these guys I hear about in the offseason. They're just like, the Yankees are going to roll over everybody. And
they are the second best team in baseball.
Okay.
They pretty much are rolling over most teams.
Except when they're getting swept by the Red Sox.
They're 35 games over.
Okay.
It's not like they're playing 500 ball and putzing around.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not putzing around, Hannah.
He's right. He is right.
Maybe they have some problems with their manager and some of their players not hustling, but they also have problems with injuries. And I think once they get their full team back and once everybody figures out how to play cohesively, I still don't think they've done that this whole season.
I mean, it's September 1st, September 2nd. I mean, shouldn't they know how to play cohesively at this point?
It's hard.
Well, I mean, hypothetically, yes, but it's been tough for them because so many guys have been out. So many star guys have been out.
I think Zach's point here is that while the Yankees may have been struggling a little bit, they do have some room to grow as a team, and there is a lot of room for improvement, and they're already doing so well that you should be looking out, Hannah.
Okay.
Because they're coming for you.
Zach, I remember when I was back home for the summer, you told me that this is the best Yankees bullpen in Yankees history.
What about Derek Jeter?
Derek Jeter played shortstop.
So?
The bullpen is the pitchers.
Oh.
At the end of the game.
Yes.
And so...
I check that credibility on that Yankees fan right there.
Hey, don't be mean to Hannah.
I've actually seen the Yankees play a game in Yankee Stadium, Zach, so I'm a real fan.
Oh, okay.
They lost.
New Yankee Stadium or old Yankee Stadium?
I have no idea. It was in 2012.
New Yankee Stadium.
Woo! Go Yankees.
All right.
So what are your takes on this bullpen that's just falling apart right now?
I wouldn't say falling apart.
I would say falling apart.
Chance of having one of his best years ever.
Except when he gives up 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning to the frickin' Tigers.
Wait, Mr. Stanton is a pitcher?
No, he's like the DH / right fielder.
I thought
he said Betances.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear.
That's okay. Zach, talk up. Speak up.
Talk up, Zach.
Yeah. So I do believe that this is still one of the best bullpens when they're achieving at their highest capability, which they really haven't this year because Chapman's out right now, and they've had several injuries still in the bullpen, and then they got guys shuffling around. Sonny, Lance Lynn was in the bullpen, and now so they switched Sonny and Lance Lynn. Then they had Jason Shreve earlier in the year, and they really just need to figure out what goes where. But it's kind of tough when Chapman's out, especially right now because Chapman's out and he's your closer. So now you have to put Britton in, who they just got from the Orioles at the trade deadline, and he hasn't been pitching great.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out who's your closer, who's your seventh inning, 6th inning. So when guys are out and you have new guys and people that are getting shuffled around, it's kind of tough when guys are getting put into roles that they're not normally
I don't know,
in.
bro. I've heard a lot. I just keep hearing like a lot of like excuses, and Chapman hasn't been out for that long. Chapman's been in there for most of the season, and if you recall, one of the biggest games for the Red Sox this year was when they were down, I believe it was 3 to the Yankees, that last game of the 4-game set in that last series that they just played, and they came back to beat the Yankees after they were down by 3 in the 9th inning, and they hung 3 on Chapman and tied the game. So he is, because, and I heard an interesting point that guys are kind of getting.
I mean, I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
So it's proven fact that it's not. This is not an excuse. This is a fact that Chapman, when he doesn't pitch on a regular schedule, so once every 2 or 3 days, then he loses his command, he's not as sharp, and his stuff is not as good.
Okay, shouldn't his manager know that then?
Just the same as Masahiro Tanaka when he doesn't get his regular 5 days of rest. So these pitchers are creatures of habit, and they have to, if something messes up their normal routine, then they're not going to have what they normally have, which with Chapman is his command of 98 to 105.
He touched 105 once in his career, so let's not be like, oh, he throws 105 on a regular basis.
That's one more time than Craig Kimbrell.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh boy.
But like, shouldn't Aaron Boone know this and adjust? Shouldn't he be putting Chapman out there then more frequently, or putting Tanaka on a regular schedule?
Well, I mean, it'd be kind of tough to send Chapman out there right now.
Yeah, because he's hurt. But, like, before he was hurt, shouldn't Aaron Boone have been using him more effectively?
Well, you could say that, but, again, when you say the Yankees have had trouble beating bad teams, which I'm not denying, but, I mean, if you're losing to a bad team, you're not going to want to put your closer in, but, I mean, he still does have to get some work, so there you definitely see that there's some spots that he could have put him in, but it's just overall.
I hear a lot of excuses, Zach, and a lot of like, and every team's got to deal with injuries. Look at the Mariners. That every single year they have to deal with injuries, and they, rip the Mariners. But like, teams have to deal with injuries. Like right now, we don't have Chris Sale. I don't know what's going on with David Price. Rafael Devers has been hurt on and off. Like every single team has to deal. We missed Mickey for 3 weeks.
Nowhere near the player Gary Sanchez.
Okay.
Or Aaron Judge is.
Gary Sanchez had.
Mariners don't have a single player that's caliber either player either.
Gary Sanchez had like one good year last year, and everyone is convinced that he's like the reincarnation of
Derek Jeter.
Yes, exactly. And I just
rest in peace.
Okay. But it's like he had one good year, and so I don't want to.
Didn't have one good year because he had 1.5 good years, and he's been in the league.
One and a half. But you got to give him some time before you're like, Gary Sanchez is an elite player.
2016, I believe, he came up. Yeah, it was 2016 because the Yankees made the playoffs last year. In that half season after the All-Star break, he came up, and he just absolutely destroyed the ball. And then last year, he had a good year also.
And look what he's doing this year, Zach. He's hitting 200.
Yes, because he's been injured the whole season.
Okay.
He's hurt.
His widow heart.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach. Is he hurt, or is he hurt because he's been jogging down to first base and they want to put him on the DL so they don't have to deal with him?
Okay, well maybe he was jogging down to first base because his groin was had problems, and he's had leg problems.
Well, why was he? Okay, all right, sure. Hannah.
Yes.
Let's get your take on Aaron Judge. What do you think?
He's big. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, obviously.
Yes.
He's extremely tall.
Yeah.
And
in fact, I only know one person who's taller.
Me too. We love him.
Yes.
But Aaron Judge. I think he's a good player. I like him, and I want to see him play more. Is he injured right now?
He is injured because he got hit on the wrist and he fractured a bone in it.
That is so sad.
Yep.
But yeah, he's a good player. He's strong and he's young.
Yes.
So the Yankees are going to be using him for a while.
Yes.
And I'm excited, looking forward to that.
Yes. He is definitely a guy you can build a franchise around.
Yes.
He is, everybody used to talk about what a good guy Derek Jeter was, and I think you have a similar thing here with Aaron Judge of being a good guy.
What about, like, A-Rod?
What
about
There's a
A-Rod?
good guy for you.
Yeah, A-Rod is really just a good guy, and all is forgiven, and now he's the announcer on Sunday Night Baseball, and everyone loves him.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are, America's team, so I have faith that...
Oh, that's the Dallas Cowboys.
No, it's
the Yankees too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the Yankees are, even if they are going through a little bit of a slump right now, which I'm not sure if they are because I don't watch baseball that often, they're going to come back and be good because they are, the team in baseball.
Okay.
The team.
I have some concerns about starting rotation and
Of course.
bullpen stuff, but it's going to be an interesting October. That is for sure.
The Yankees are playing right now and losing.
They are. They're losing 8-4, but they do have the bases loaded in the bottom of the eighth.
Oh, boy.
So
I do believe. I'm not sure.
hate
I don't know that much about baseball, but I do believe 4 runs is a grand slam.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, I think it is.
You're
I
right.
think it's Grand Slam time.
Do you think it's Grand
That's
Slam
great.
time?
If only Mr. Judge would come back.
Please, Mr. Judge, give us a Grand Slam.
Yes.
So I'll keep everybody updated on how that game is going. The Red Sox are losing 5-0 because they have their long man pitching today because, as I said, Chris Sale injured. It would be his day to pitch, but...
Oh, Chris Sale.
Oh, Chris Sale.
You
Please come back.
suck.
Hey, leave Chris Sale alone.
Yeah.
Zach, any last thoughts from you?
No, I'll just actually, yeah, I'd like to see what the Red Sox do in October.
Okay,
Because there's
Zach.
a lot of talk in the regular season, but I mean, Mariners be the first to tell you the regular season doesn't mean anything.
Don't be mean to the Mariners.
Playoff.
Zach, do you think that the Yankees have a chance to go to the playoffs this year, or are we looking at no?
Well, I definitely think they're going to make the playoffs since they're 4.5 games up on the second wild card. But
Awesome. That'd be great.
anything can happen.
You're right. The Mariners could just win out, and that would be it. Boom. Yankees fall
I'm
out.
pretty
Yeah.
Mariners are nine games out of the Yankees.
You know what? Stranger things have happened.
Well, the Mariners, not good.
Hey, we're going to talk about the Mariners next because I love the Mariners, and they are really America's team.
I think it's kind of the same thing with how I was talking about how there are some football teams who just don't have strong leadership or a good foundation, unlike the Packers. I think that the Mariners are a baseball team that are kind of like that.
Wow. Hannah really coming for Jerry DiPoto and
I mean,
Scott
you
Service.
have teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox, for example, who always seem to do at least okay even on their bad years, and that's
Right.
because they have the
At
strong
least
foundations.
okay on their bad years.
Sir, relax.
Worst to worst twice in 5 years.
Can you calm down for like
Anyway,
2 seconds?
Just an example. I think that the Mariners lack the strong foundation of a team like the Yankees.
Oh, boy.
For example.
Well, you know what?
So-
We're going to take a break. We're going to play some music, and then we're going to dive into that because
Oh, boy.
I think that's an interesting take from Miss Hannah Utter here.
Thank you.
But, Zach, it is always such a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you so much for joining us with your insightful takes.
Yes, Zach. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Well, the Yankees now have 2 outs, but they still have the bases loaded, and Neil Walker coming up, who
Here
hit
comes Neil Walker.
He hit a walk-off home run the other night.
Walker?
So
I barely know her.
we'll keep everybody updated on what happens with the Yankees. Zach, I'll let you go and finish your 18 pizza rolls that you made.
Yes, King.
Enjoy your pizza rolls, and I hope the Yankees lose today.
And tell Demi we said hello.
Yes.
That's
Okay, I don't know what you said, but thanks, Zach. Bye.
Bye, Zach.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love having him on the program. He's just such
He's
a
pretty sassy.
he's such a ray of sunshine. He's always
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
All right, we're gonna jump into some more music, and these are both songs that Hannah Utter requested.
Yep.
So I want to, if you want to call in and give us your thoughts about the Yankees, these songs, anything really. The Packers, the Cougs. 509-33 the Mariners. 509-335-2207 is that number. We want to hear from you. So here we go. 2 songs Hannah Otter picked. Hope you like them.
Here we go.
You know what that sound means. We have another phone call, and I'm super excited for this one because this is a longtime listener, first-time caller, if you will, and also one of my very best friends, Maya. Are you there?
Yes, I am, Hannah and Hannah. Hello.
Hey, Maya.
How are you today, Maya?
Pretty good. I just got back from camping with my sorority. Super
Right,
excited. Super
right.
tired, but I'm
Rush
super
Sigma
happy to be
Kappa.
back
Yes.
in Portland.
Yes, Rush
Yes.
Sigma Kappa. I
Nice. Thanks for the plug.
agree. Maya was my roommate freshman year and Hannah's suite mate freshman year.
Yes.
Great
Maya was
times.
Hannah's actual roommate, if
Yes,
you will.
actual roommate. Yes. And
Rush honors.
Hey,
But what kind of brought Maya and I together was that Maya was the first of the two of us to get there, and so she decorated her room, and or her side of the room, and there was some Yankee stuff up, and I was alarmed because I was like, "What's going on?" And so I set up all my Red Sox stuff, and I had like more Red Sox stuff than she did Yankee stuff. Like my comforter is like a big Red Sox blanket. And so I was chilling in the living room and she comes home and it was like the first time we were meeting and she's like, "Oh, hey, I'll come hang out with you. Like, let me just put my stuff away." And she goes in, puts her stuff away, and then she comes back out and she's like, "Excuse me, what's all this stuff in our room?" And that was our first real bonding moment.
I almost fainted. Just FYI for all the listeners out there.
Queen.
I almost puked from the disgust of I was feeling
Right.
walking into that Red Sox infested room. And we live in Washington. What the heck, too?
but somehow
Girl,
they
who's this
overcame
Mariners fan in Washington.
their differences
Yes.
and are now great friends.
You're right.
So thank
Yes.
goodness. for
Anything you can triumph over anything. This shows. So Maya, you want to, I'm sure, just talk about all the horrible slander that I have just slapped on the Yankees. So what are your thoughts of this team? Give me your rundown. How do you think the team's going to do?
Well, the Yankees, from what I understand, are the best team in baseball.
I
but
understand it like that as well.
they may not show that all the time. Right now, they're currently 7.5 games behind the Red Sox, which is fine. Masahiro, I know he snapped a big losing streak for himself, which I am finally applauding. Thank
Woo.
goodness. Yesterday was a win against the Tigers.
Yeah.
I think that the Yankees are on a rebound. It is early September. We still have a month left of this season. And I think that they can really come from behind and win this whole thing.
You think they can win the division?
I honestly think they can. I think the Red Sox suck. So
Yes.
That is the first. I watch a lot of like baseball talk shows and stuff, and you are the first person I've heard who has said that you think that the Yankees can come back and overtake the Red Sox from
I may
this
be a little
big
biased,
deficit.
of course, but
Even,
No, I don't think so.
even if they can't win the division, they're going to get that wild card spot
Yes.
and win the World Series. So
Okay.
we don't
yes,
have to worry.
thank you, Hannah. That is exactly correct. Right now, I don't think anybody can contest the Yankees for the wild card. I know that Oakland is kind of trailing like 5.5 games back.
Woo.
Let's take a peek at the standings because I do have them in front of me.
Well, not maybe not.
The Mariners aren't doing so well.
Hey, don't stop slandering the Mariners, Hannah. The Yankees have the first wild card spot by 5.5 games, and then the Mariners are 4.5 back of Oakland for that second wild card spot. So, and today's a very big day because the Mariners are playing Oakland, and they're trying to take 3 out of 4 from Oakland, which would be tremendous. And so,
Go M's.
as a Yankee fan, which team would you have the Yankees rather play in that one-game wild card? Would you rather play Oakland or Seattle?
Well, the Mariners are the second best team in baseball,
Yes.
in my opinion. So I'd much rather have Oakland, I believe. But
Wow.
if the Mariners can pull it off and get to the postseason, I will definitely applaud that, and I will be very excited for them because I think this is their year also.
Of course.
How can it be their year if the Yankees would have to beat them in that wild card game for the Yankees to move on?
I don't know. This is just going to be a tough predicament for whoever gets that wild
They're going to
card
tie
spot.
and then
Yes,
both-
they'll just tie and then they'll just both move on.
Yeah.
They'll keep the NL wild card because they're so good.
Yes.
They'll win the NL wild card.
Yes. So let's see. So you think, what is your favorite part about the Yankees? Like, what is their what's the best part of this team? Like, what is the strongest part?
Well, up until recently, I had reserves about the Yankees roster right now because there was a lot of people in and on and off of the DL,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of made me feel especially like our starters, Aaron Judge,
Right.
Masahiro
Rip.
was on the DL for quite of a
Yeah.
hate. Anyways, but I think that they still have enough talent on the bench and in the bullpen to come back from behind and pick it all. I think that we are definitely a postseason team. We peak in the postseason.
Do you have any concerns about Tanaka being able to go the distance this year? Because he's had elbow problems and that sort of thing. So do you think he'll be able to hold it together?
Hopefully. I think that yesterday's showing was, it was a little rocky, not going to lie. It was a little shaky. I would say it was a little shaky, kind of. It seemed shaky in the beginning, I guess. But I think that he can hold it off and he can help the Yankees to win it all, and that would be a great 28th World Series title.
Hell yeah.
For Yankees
Heck
franchise.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I have a lot of questions about this team. I think the starting rotation, especially, here's the thing. You cannot make a deep run into the playoffs and into the postseason without an ace. And the Yankees, when Luis Severino was on it, he's their ace.
Yes, definitely.
But he has been really struggling lately. And he has been, his velocity has gone down. He's been missing spots. His control has been off. And they don't seem to know what's wrong with him because they haven't put him on the DL. And he's been struggling for about a month now. So if they were going to put him on the DL, you figure they would have done it by now. But they're like, no, he's healthy. Nothing's wrong with him. He just has seemingly forgotten how to pitch. So, do you think he's going to, do they put Tanaka back in that ace role? Do you think he can hold it down for him? Do you think Severino's going to come around? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, hopefully, that's a tough one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hope that, obviously, the managers will have a better insight on this than we would, having to knowing how they how they do in the warm up and all that kind of stuff. But whatever the situation is, and whatever or whoever they pitch in the wild card game, when it comes down to that, if it does come down to that,
which
if
it will,
don't take the AL East. Hint, hint. But I would like to hope that whoever they put into the wild card game will ultimately get the win for the Yankees. But honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter at this point, I guess.
Oh, wow.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have faith in
Maya has
the defense
full
as well.
faith. Wow. She has full faith in Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman over there. So, wow. Queen. Hannah.
Honestly.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, how do you think? So, it looks like everyone else, except for Maya, thinks that the Yankees will play in that one-game wild card. What do you think they'll do? How do you think they'll do?
I think they're going to do well, obviously, because I'm a huge Yankees fan.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah, that's basically all that I know.
Yeah.
But I think, no offense to all my Mariners fans out there,
Hey.
but definitely think that the Yankees are a stronger team than the Mariners. So if the Mariners get the wild card, they'll win for sure. Not really sure about the A's, but I am from the Bay Area, so I do like, rooting for some Bay Area baseball teams occasionally. But I'd obviously rather see the Yankees win. So.
On that note, the Yankees had closed the gap. They were only down 8-5, and now they're down 11-5 today. So
Not looking good.
I don't think they're coming back today. I think they're going to take the L, but the Red Sox are down 6-0 too. So it looks like both teams will probably lose today. But that's okay.
Woo!
And so Hannah brought up the Mariners, and I think that's a great next topic for us to discuss is the Seattle Mariners and talking about if this is their year, because a lot of people want it to be their year. And for the longest time, it looked like it was going to be their year. And then the Swingin' A's just came out of nowhere.
Swingin' A's.
To take the Mariners spot. They just grabbed it from them.
It's the power of the Bay Area right there.
Yep. And it's hard for me to watch the Mariners do this to their fan base year in and year out, because everybody was like, nobody, like, this is it. Like, this is the Mariners' year. Finally, it's done. Paxton, they got their ace. They got Edwin Diaz in the bullpen. Nelson Cruz, Robbie Cano. Here we go. Robbie Cano gets popped for doing some PED things he shouldn't be doing.
What's PED?
Performance-enhancing
Rip.
drugs, steroids.
Oh my
Rip.
God.
Got popped for that.
I didn't hear about this.
Oh
but
yes,
wow,
he spent 80 games on the DL, or suspended, not the DL. He was suspended for 80 games. He's no longer postseason eligible. So even if the Mariners did like mount a huge comeback, he couldn't play. And I mean, Edwin Diaz has been tremendous. He's got 50 saves on the year. But Felix Hernandez, oh my goodness, he has dropped off the face of the earth. They like tried to move him to the bullpen. I don't think anybody really thought that he was going to have this sort of decline. Like, everybody was like, obviously the velocity isn't there anymore. He's getting older. But it's like he's forgotten how to pitch entirely. It's like,
Dang.
whoa. And so I think that has really negatively affected the Mariners. And then the starting pitching is like, you have Paxton, Wade LeBlanc, Meatball Marco Gonzalez.
Me.
Sorry. And then Felix and whoever they want to throw out there on the fifth day, like Erasmo Ramirez or somebody. And it's just like, you can't do that, because what happens is those guys go like 5 innings and then you go to your bullpen, which the Mariners have a good bullpen, but it's just so overused that all those guys are tired, and then they just also can't pitch.
Yeah.
And so it's the Mariners are in a very tough position, because you look at this lineup and you look at the bullpen, and for all intents and purposes, you're like, this is a team that's going to compete. And then they don't. And it just makes you scratch your head, and you're like, and cry if you're a Mariners fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really thought this was their year, man.
Is it true that the Mariners is the only team who hasn't won a World Series in baseball?
No. They are one of 2 teams to never have appeared in a World Series with the...
I thought the other one appeared last year. Wasn't it?
No. So there's like 6 or 7 teams that have never won a World Series.
Okay.
And the Astros were one of those teams until last year, but there's still like 6 teams, like the Rockies, the Mariners, I think the Padres,
The Padres,
the
yeah.
Nationals, like the Brewers won. But all those teams, like, they've never won a World Series, but I think it's the Mariners and the Nationals are the 2 teams that have never appeared in a World Series.
Uh-huh.
And it's just heartbreaking.
It's
The
just-
Rangers have also never won a World Series, and the Rays also.
It's just a weak franchise. I have to be honest, Hannah. I have to say it.
It's so sad
It's just
because they had that 116 win season in 2001, and then
what happened, Hannah?
they lost to the Yankees in the playoffs, Hannah, and
Yankees win again.
that was the last time they've been in the playoffs with 2001. And as you all know, I'm sure, they are in all 4 major sports. So NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL, they have the longest drought of not going to the playoffs of every single team in all of those leagues. And it just makes you cry. It just makes you so sad.
Not me. I'm not a fan of Seattle athletic teams ever since the Fail Mary of
Right?
What year was that? 2013 or something. Ever since then, I've held a pretty strong vendetta against.
But it's just
that.
like it's sad for me, because you want to see this team do well, because these fans are so passionate. We have friends who are passionate about the Mariners.
Hannah's wearing a Mariner shirt today.
I am. But it's like, why?
Well, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I do believe that in, at least I've seen in football and also in baseball, there are some franchises that are just weak and they don't have the strength of a good base. And so every year, even when they do well, they sort of hit a wall, I guess.
And in sports, you kind of talk about, like, you have this window to win. And I feel like that window was, like, almost 2 years ago for the Mariners when Seager and Cano and Felix were all at the top of their game. Like, that was their time to win when they brought in Robbie on that huge deal. That was my junior year of high school. And they bring him in on this huge 10-year deal. And they're like, this is it. This is the piece we need. And then nothing ever happened. And nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
And now you have Felix, who's like, ship him off. It's over.
It's
Kyle
over.
Seager it's over, man. Sorry to all my Kyle Seager fans. I know he's a fan fave, but sad. Robbie, I don't know. I don't want Robbie anymore, but Maya, you got any thoughts on this sad topic?
Well, the Mariners, I know, being in Washington, we have a lot of Mariners fans friends,
Yes.
and I like to just keep up the faith for them. Hopefully that the Mariners in this next month or so, they can get their stuff together and come from behind and beat the A's for the wild card spot.
Hopefully.
Whatever the case may be, I know it's going to be a really good showdown in the West, and I know a lot of Mariners fans are really, really pumped for this.
Yep. Don't
Because
give up
the
hope
kind of
yet.
stuff
Woo!
that-
Hope
this
is
the
not
kind of stuff
lost.
that they may be used to, but
Yeah.
hopefully they can come from behind.
Hopefully.
Also, before I kind of sign off,
Of course.
I wanted to say, just give a big go Cougs for
Yes.
Cougs.
Go Cougs.
won yesterday against the University
Yes.
of Wyoming.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah.
Heck
And
yeah.
excited for the first game of the season home game of the season next Saturday.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll have a good turnout.
Yes.
Hopefully people are pumped for this year. And
Oh, yeah.
And
I
Maya
hope
is
that-
now the concessions chair
Yes!
of her club.
Yes, Queen.
Yes.
The Pacific Islanders Club.
Pacific
Yes.
Islanders Club.
So just a little
I
shout out
didn't
to
know- I
Maya
was
there.
I was the concessions chair last year too, but I just kept the position going.
So
Now you're
because
just really
we have
cementing the role.
Drop by the Pacific Islanders Club booth and say hi to Maya and tell her the Yankees suck because she'll love that.
Yeah, we love Maya.
Yes, and then you can drop me a $10 bill and I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Maya. We loved having you on the program. We'll have to get you in the studio soon because I love talking baseball with my ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you, and definitely I'll see you
We
guys
should start
later
a
on.
team. A league of their own, anyone? Just kidding. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, Maya. I know you're a busy gal, so I will let you go, but I do appreciate you calling in today.
Thank you, Hannah and Hannah. See you guys later.
Of
Bye,
course.
Maya.
Bye, Queen. All right. And I do, since we talked about the Mariners, I want to give a special shout out to a big Mariners fan. ASWSU Vice President Tyler Parcham turned 21 today.
Happy birthday, Tyler.
Happy birthday, Tyler. I hope the Mariners win for you. We have a couple more songs to play for you, and then we're going to wrap up the show.
Yeah, we sure are, Hannah.
Here we go. So soft and calming. All right. That's the mics, not the aux. You guys know what that means.
Bedtime.
Yep, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's time for us to say goodbye. For this week, though, but don't worry, I'll be back next week because I just can't stop talking about baseball.
Yep.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to the one and only Hannah Utter
Aw.
for coming on the program and sticking with us the whole time, for her insight and her analysis. It is just so great that you came on today. So thank you so much. Round of applause for Hannah Utter. Yes,
Clapping
queen.
for myself.
Oh,
here.
yeah?
And thanks to Maya and Zach for calling in
Yes.
and making the conversation a little more interesting.
Yes.
As you may have gleaned from this little radio show we did here, I don't know that much about baseball, so it would have just been Hannah sort of talking at me and me agreeing with her. So thank you, Maya and Zach, for helping me
Yes.
out.
Thanks everyone who was listening, and yeah. Thanks to
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks Hannah, our callers, our listeners. You guys are the best. And I'll be back next week. I'll be right here 12 to 2 every Sunday. You can catch me on the program. So, with that, I guess I'll catch you back here next week for some more Turning 2 Tunes.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye guys.